Hello everyone, this is Phantom here, and today I have yet another LX shooter story. So I know it has been far too long since I've done one of these, but I got back into the Death Note writing mood recently, and not to mention I've been following this girl on Wattpad who goes by the name Ibags, aka Adventure Time Fanatic, and she is absolutely awesome. She basically goes by L's bitch or an L's slut or whatever. She worships him. She would sell her soul to this panda-looking detective, and those are her words. And I freaking adore her so much because her stories are just so freaking good. And I love her to pieces. Like, she's just so badass, and she's just the best. And I remember before I had made this video, I had actually talked to her saying, like, hey, this story that I have, it has a small element in it that involves your story. So, one of your stories, so I'm like, well, is it okay if I show this? And she's like, oh yeah, go ahead. I never really expected anyone to want to showcase an idea that I came up with in my own stories. So I'm like, okay, well, if I have permission, then I will definitely do that. And I also promised to give her a shout out and a link to this video. So hello, iBags, if you're watching this. I know it may be a little weird to know that I'm a big YouTuber. Not really, but you know. If you ever want me to read one of your stories, or I know that I normally don't read her stories, but I really need to promote her, or at least make videos talking about many people I meet on Wattpad, like, for example, this girl. And I also have a Christmas video that is a special gift to one particular person in my fandom, or as you guys call yourselves, phantoms. I have a very special surprise for one of the phantoms out there, and that person is White Moon, or White Paint, or Rose Moo on Twitter. So I have a very big surprise planned for her for Christmas. I already actually have pretty much everything I need for it. I just need to get the audio done and edit the video. But hopefully it'll be out soon, and I'll be sure to send her the video. But yeah, aside from that, why don't we go ahead and kick off this story that is simply titled Lovely Poems. This was loosely based off of the game called Love Letter that is on the Newgrounds website. I don't own the meme that is showcased in this video or on the Wattpad story page, but you gotta admit that this meme is adorable in every single way humanly possible. Like, looking at it, it's just so cute. Like, you just want to squish that adorable little face. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'll walk down the halls of Toho, late for school. He walked over to his locker when he found something poking out of it. Confused, he pulled it out of his locker and saw there was an envelope with a heart on it. This meant that it was a love letter, of course. This person also didn't have Elle's number, or at least was scared to text him. But they also knew his locker number. It confused Elle the more he thought about this. He was confused that someone had given him a love letter at all. He had a suspicion that it was the short girl with glasses that had watched him play tennis. But then when he started reading it, he noticed that it gave off a totally different vibe. Hello, Ryuga. You know me. At least, you know me a little. We're in the same creative writing class. I actually wrote this during that class. I've written it over and over again. At first I wrote these letters because I thought that if I just wrote it out and didn't give it to you, I would stop feeling so weird around you. Shut up, Bone. Sorry. Total YouTube professionalism here. Just saying. But it didn't work. I've been writing it out and planning on ways to give it to you for 2 months now. I know it's weird for me to say I love you when I barely know you, so I won't say that. But I will say that if you're interested in me, to meet me at the event after school ends. Sincerely, your secret admirer. Ryuzaki was shocked. The only person that came to mind that could have written this was your name, last name. She sat behind him in creative writing class. He was surprised that out of all the girls in the entire school to have written him that love letter, it was her. She was infamously known as the most beautiful girl in school. There were some people who preferred Light's girlfriend. I forgot that chick's name, and I never liked her, so I don't care to look her up. But he saw you as the perfect embodiment of confidence and sexiness. You always wanted to dress in a classy way that put up a business effort. You never wore slutty short skirts or ugly crop tops. You wore button-up shirts and pencil skirts. It suited your figure perfectly. I shook those thoughts away and checked the time. There were another 4 hours until school ends. Al felt the sweat drop as he thought about how long the day was going to be. He figured he could spend the day He figured he could spend the day's class either writing a response letter to give to her during class, or perhaps plan out how to confess to her at the fountain. In the original story, I wrote cherry tree for some reason. I'll have to edit that later. He was on his way to creative writing while Light was talking his ear off about some dumb problem he was having. All of a sudden, accidentally spoke aloud in French. Light stopped walking. Did you just speak French? Oh, was that allowed? Yes. What does that mean? Nothing. Don't worry about it. He then walked off to his class while I took out his phone to Google what that phrase meant. He was then greeted with the phrase, "No one likes you, Light." And that, my friend, is the single trait that basically of the story from iBags that I snagged. And I'm going to leave a link to that story too, because that story is just so cute. It has nothing to do with level. I just literally stole the element of speaking in French from her, and she was so kind in letting me take that. But seriously, it was so funny when I first read that idea, and I'm like, oh my god, that is so something Light would do, because like that's something that Light would just like, I don't know, you guys know what I mean. It would just be perfect. Anyway, during class, the teacher was letting us free write our own poems and told us that we had to present them after we were done. This made Al grow nervous. He didn't know what approach he should take to this opportunity. Should I just make a love poem? No, she'll know my answer to her question. Maybe a deeper poem? Would she even know it's for her? Is she going to write me a poem? Al silently panicked despite his face holding literally no emotions. He was startled when the teacher announced that they only had 5 more minutes to write. Please excuse this voice I'm about to make, but I really wanted to give this story a little bit more attitude, so I'm just going to give this character the world's worst voice, so prepare yourselves. Please be sure to have good penmanship. I'm sick and tired of reading y'all's chicken scratch, she said with a nasally voice. Elle almost chuckled at the thought of writing a poem about her god-awful voice. Elle finished his poem with literal seconds to spare, and the teacher spoke up. All right, put your pencils down. We're going to have volunteers go up first. Elle inhaled deeply and held up his hand. All right, Ryuga, you can go up first, then you can pick who you want to go next. All right. Elle then walked up to the podium and pulled the paper in between both of his hands and began reading in a silky smooth voice. The Fountain of Magic. It glowed colors of deepness and thought. It symbolizes beauty, perfection even. When I look at it, all I see is your face. You stare back at me from the other side, daring me to join you. Elle felt your eyes on him. He felt his hand shake ever so slightly, but he inhaled lightly and tried to convince himself that everything was fine. He wasn't sure as to why he was so nervous, but that didn't stop him from saying the last line. To the dearest and sweetest person out there, just know I love you too. He looked back at the students, more specifically you. You had a look of surprise on your face, but then he smiled. He felt tears well up, but thankfully they didn't fall. He began clapping, and the others followed suit. Heck, even the teacher clapped. Elle smiled and took a bow before pointing at you simply. You smiled and went up to the podium. You smiled and looked directly at him as you spoke the title of your poem. This is called My Cookie. Elle smiled at the title and right away knew that he was the subject of the poem, just as it was done for you. My cookie is the sweetest and cutest thing. It sparkles with life and sugar. The chocolates are like bling, shining in the light. My cookie holds secrets beyond compare. It knows mysteries unknown to mankind. It can only share, however, sugar and spice. You then looked back up from the paper and saw Elle with the cutest smile in the whole universe. He felt a relief fall onto you, and you smiled back. He applauded you first, and the whole class followed suit once more. After class. I was down the hallway walking to his next class when he grabbed him by the hand and quickly ran him along like a lost puppy. Your name? What are we doing? We're going to be late. I don't care right now. Come on. You just led him down the halls and brought him into the library. You threw him inside of a study room and peeked around to make sure that no one was in sight. You then walked over to him and grabbed him by the collar, kissing him gently. Al didn't know what to do. He was surprised by your sudden boldness because he always saw you as shy and calm, so this was unexpected. But as you were about to pull away, he pulled your face closer to his. You both smiled and got a bit carried away. You both pulled away, completely out of breath. but you both started giggling like schoolgirls. You're so cute, Ryuga. So are you, miss your name last name. By the way, Ryuga, can I have that poem you wrote? I was about to ask you the same. Here you go. He handed you his poem, and you handed him yours. Wow, you have terrible handwriting. So do you, he said with a smile. You giggled and kissed him on the cheek. Did you miss on purpose? Maybe? He then grabbed you by your face and shoved his lips into yours full force. Got that voice crack? You smiled and kissed back with equal aggression. A robotic voice then spoke in French, breaking the heated silence. Elle fell silent as he pulled away. He quickly looked over to see Light holding his phone, recording the whole thing while playing that audio. Elle screamed out in French before running towards him and then towards him. Light laughed and ran in the other direction to escape the raging detective. He smiled before trying to decipher what they both said. Using your French from high school, you learned that Light had said, "No one likes you, Elle." And Elle then responded by saying, "I hate you, Light." But then it hit you. Did he say Elle? You then ran after them yelling. I honestly think this is super adorable to make because I'm like, well, I frankly love Elle. And again, huge freaking credit to the girl, Eyebags, who had made this idea, because I'm actually currently looking at her headcanon / promise master post, where you are basically allowed to choose a headcanon that you know what I mean, like a headcanon that you write. And whenever I found this story, you know what I mean, like I just really found this really funny because she had said on how whenever that Elle would probably talk in his sleep. In fact, the very first story she wrote in her third Elle Extra Story headcanon book, she said that the headcanon was Elle sometimes talks in his sleep and he says some strange shit. And, for example, he said the exact phrase that I chose, which was, "No one likes you, Light." And I found that so funny. And it was just so adorable to think that she even says it right here. Like, even in his sleep, he talks shit about Light. And I just thought to myself, that is so freaking funny. Like, that is just the cutest little thing. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I cannot but fangirl about that. Like, that's just the cutest, most adorable little thing. But, yeah, aside from that, I guess I got really nothing else to talk about. I do plan on finishing up that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle story. It's about done. I know I keep promising it, but it's taking a while because I'm no longer as enthused about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as I once was. But I also hope to write a couple other Christmas stories to come. I'm not sure how much time I'll have for that, but hopefully whenever Christmas break comes, I'll have plenty of time. But regardless, I hope that you all enjoyed this story. And as always, this is Fandom Writer, and I'll be seeing you all very soon. Bye-bye.